Mariah Cary, American singer and songwriter, born 1969. For her eponymous debut album, see Mariah Cary album. Mariah Cary Emra, born March 27, 1969, is an American singer, songwriter, record producer, and actress. Referred to as the Songbird Supreme by Guinness World Records, she is noted for her 5-octave vocal range, melismatic and improvisational singing style, and signature use of the whistle register. An influential figure in popular music, Cary is credited for merging hip-hop with pop music through her collaborations and popularizing the use of remixes. She has also been dubbed the Queen of Christmas for the enduring popularity of her holiday music, particularly the 1994 song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is the best-selling holiday song by a female artist. Quick facts. Born, education. Cary rose to fame in 1990 with her eponymous debut album under the guidance of Columbia Records executive Tommy Mottola, who married her in 1993. She became the first artist to have their first 5 singles reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, from Vision of Love to Emotions. Cary gained worldwide success with the albums Music Box 1993 and Daydream 1995, both of which rank among the best-selling albums of all time and spawned several hit singles, including Hero, Without You, Fantasy, Always Be My Baby, and One Sweet Day, which topped the US Billboard Hot 100 Decade-End chart 1990s. After separating from Mottola, Cary adopted a new urban image and began incorporating hip-hop and R&B elements, with the release of Butterfly 1997, and its lead single, Honey. She left Columbia in 2001 after 11 consecutive years of US #1 singles and signed a record deal with Virgin Records. Following Cary's highly publicized breakdown and the failure of the film Glitter, 2001, and its soundtrack, Virgin bought out her contract and she signed with Island Records the following year. After a comparatively unsuccessful period, Cary returned to the top of the charts with one of the best-selling albums of the 21st century, The Emancipation of Mimi 2005. Its second single, We Belong Together, topped the US Billboard Hot 100 Decade-End chart 2000s. Her subsequent ventures included roles in the films Precious 2009, The Butler 2013, A Christmas Melody 2015, and the Lego Batman movie 2017, being an American Idol judge, starring in the docu-series Mariah's World, performing at multiple concert residencies, and publishing the memoir The Meaning of Mariah Cary 2020. Cary is one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with over 220 million records sold worldwide. An inductee of the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress, she was ranked as the 5th greatest singer of all time by Rolling Stone in 2023. In 2019, Billboard named her the top charting female solo artist, based on both album and song chart success. She holds the record for the most Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles by a solo artist, 19, a female songwriter, 18, and a female producer, 15. Cary is the highest certified female artist in the United States and 10th overall, with 74 million certified album units. Among her accolades are 5 Grammy Awards, 10 American Music Awards, 15 Billboard Music Awards, and 8 Guinness World Records. Early life. Mariah Cary was born on March 27, 1969, in Huntington, New York. Her name is derived from the song They Call the Wind Maria, originally from the 1951 Broadway musical Paint Your Wagon. She is the youngest of 3 children born to Patricia, née Hickey, a former opera singer and vocal coach of Irish descent, and Alfred Roy Cary, an aeronautical engineer of African American and Black Venezuelan American lineage. The last name Cary was adopted by her Venezuelan grandfather, Francisco Núñez, after he emigrated to New York. Patricia's family disowned her for marrying a black man. Racial tensions prevented the Cary family from integrating into their community. While they lived in Huntington, their neighbors poisoned the family dog and set fire to their car. After her parents' divorce, Cary had little contact with her father, and her mother worked several jobs to support the family. Cary spent much of her time at home alone and began singing at age 3, often imitating her mother's take on Verdi's opera Rigoletto in Italian. Her older sister Allison moved in with their father while Mariah and her elder brother Morgan lived with their mother. During her years in elementary school, she excelled in the arts, such as music and literature. Cary began writing poetry and lyrics while attending Harborfields High School in Greenlawn, New York, where she graduated in 1987. Cary began vocal training under the tutelage of her mother. Though she was a classically trained opera singer, Patricia Cary never pressured her daughter to pursue a career in classical opera. Mariah Carey recalled that she had never been a pushy mom. She never said, "Give it more of an operatic feel. I respect opera like crazy, but it didn't influence me." In high school, Mariah Carey was often absent because of her work as a demo singer. This led to her classmates giving her the nickname Mirage. Working in the Long Island music scene gave her opportunities to work with musicians such as Gavin Christopher and Ben Margulies, with whom she co-wrote material for her demo tape. After moving to New York City, she worked part-time jobs to pay the rent and completed 500 hours of beauty school. Cary moved into a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan with 4 female students as roommates. She landed a gig singing backup for freestyle singer Brenda Kay. Star. Career. 1988-1992. Career beginnings, debut album and emotions. Cary exiting Shepherd's Bush Empire after promoting her single, Vision of Love, on Wogan in 1990. In December 1988, Cary accompanied Star to a music executives party, where she handed her demo tape to the head of Columbia Records, Tommy Mottola. After listening to the tape during the ride home, he immediately requested the driver turn around. Cary had already left the event, and in what has been described as a modern-day Cinderella story, he spent 2 weeks looking for her. Another record label expressed interest and a bidding war ensued. Mottola signed Cary to Columbia and enlisted producers Rick Wake, Narada Michael Walden, and Rhett Lawrence for her first album. Columbia marketed Cary as the main female artist on the roster, competing with Arista's Whitney Houston and Madonna of Sire Records. On June 5, 1990, Cary made her first public appearance at the 1990 NBA Finals, singing "America the Beautiful." The highlight was the piercing whistle note toward the song's conclusion, sparking CBS sports anchor Pat O'Brien to declare, "The palace now has a queen." Columbia spent upwards of $1 million promoting Cary's debut studio album, Mariah Carey. After a slow start, the album eventually topped the Billboard 200 for 11 consecutive weeks, after Cary's exposure at the 33rd Annual Grammy Awards, where she won the award for Best New Artist, and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for her single, Vision of Love. The album's singles, Vision of Love, Love Takes Time, Someday, and I Don't Wanna Cry, all topped the US Billboard Hot 100. Mariah Carey was the best-selling album in the United States in 1991, and achieved worldwide sales of 15 million copies. The following year Cary co-wrote, co-produced and recorded her second studio effort, Emotions. Described by Cary as an homage to Motown soul music, Cary employed the help of Walter Afanasieff, who only had a small role on her debut, as well as Robert Clivillés and David Cole, from the dance group C+C Music Factory. Cary's relationship with Margulies deteriorated over a songwriting royalties dispute. After he filed a lawsuit against Columbia's parent company, Sony, the songwriting duo parted ways. Emotions was released on September 17, 1991. The title track, the album's lead single, became Cary's 5th chart topper on the Billboard Hot 100, making her the first artist whose first 5 singles reached the chart's summit. Though critics praised the album's content and described it as a more mature effort, the album was criticized as calculated and lacking originality. While the album managed sales of 8 million copies globally, Emotions failed to reach the commercial and critical heights of its predecessor. Cary did not embark on a world tour to promote the album. Although she attributed this to stage fright and the vocally challenging nature of her material, speculation grew that Cary was a studio worm, and that she was incapable of producing the perfect pitch and 5-octave vocal range for which she was known. In hopes of ending any speculation of her being a manufactured artist, Cary booked an appearance on MTV Unplugged. The show presented artists, unplugged, or in a stripped setting and devoid of studio equipment. Days prior to the show's taping, Cary and Afanasieff chose to add a cover of the Jackson 5's 1970 song, I'll Be There, to the setlist. On March 16, 1992, Cary played and recorded an intimate 7-song show at Kaufman Astoria Studios in Queens, New York. The acclaimed review was aired more than 3 times as often as the average episode, and critics heralding it as a vocal tour de force. Cary's live version of I'll Be There became her 6th #1 single on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Sony capitalized on its success and released it as an EP. It earned a triple platinum certification by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA,
and earned gold and platinum certifications in several European markets. 1993 to 1996, Music Box, Merry Christmas, and Daydream. After Emotions failed to achieve the commercial heights of her debut album, Cary's subsequent release was to be marketed as adult contemporary and pop-friendly. Music Box was produced by Cary and Afanasieff, and began a songwriting partnership that would extend until 1997's Butterfly. The album was released on August 31, 1993, to mixed reviews from music critics. Cary's songwriting was derided as cliched and her vocal performances were described as less emotive and lazier in their delivery. In his review of the album, AllMusic's Ron Wynn concluded, "Sometimes excessive spirit is preferable to an absence of passion." In promotion of the album, Cary embarked on her debut tour, a 6-date concert series, the Music Box Tour.
Music Box's first and second singles, Dream Lover and Hero, became Cary's 7th and 8th chart toppers in the United States, while her cover of Badfingers, Without You, was a commercial breakthrough in Europe, becoming her first #1 single in Germany, Sweden and the United Kingdom. Music Box remains Cary's bestseller and one of the best-selling albums of all time, with worldwide sales of over 28 million copies. In mid-1994, Cary recorded and released a duet with Luther Vandross. A cover of Lionel Richie and Diana Ross's Endless Love, Merry Christmas, released on November 1, 1994, became the best-selling Christmas album of all time, with global sales of over 15 million copies. The lead single, All I Want for Christmas Is You, became a holiday standard and continues to surge in popularity each holiday season. By October 2017, it had become the 11th best-selling single in modern music. In 2019, 25 years after the song's release, it finally peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for the first time, and it continued to do so every December since, becoming the first song in history to hold the top position in more than 2 different chart years, as well as the longest-running holiday #1 song, 12 weeks. Additionally, it is the longest-running #1 song on the Billboard Holiday 100, spending 44 cumulative weeks, of the chart's 49 total weeks since the list launched in 2011. Cary performing One Sweet Day with Boyz II Men at Madison Square Garden in October 1995. Cary's 5th studio album, Daydream, found her consolidating creative control over her career, leading to tensions with Columbia. The album featured a departure from her allegiance to pop and gravitated heavily towards R&B and hip-hop. Critically, the album was described as Cary's best to date. The New York Times named it one of 1995's best albums and concluded, "The album brings R&B candy making to a new peak of textural refinement." Cary's songwriting has taken a leap forward and become more relaxed, sexier and less reliant on thudding cliches. The album's lead single, Fantasy, became the first single by a female artist to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the second single, One Sweet Day, a collaboration with R&B group Boyz II Men, remained atop the Billboard Hot 100 for a record-breaking 16 consecutive weeks, becoming, at the time, the longest-running #1 song in the history of the charts. The third single, Always Be My Baby, became Cary's 11th chart topper, tying her with Madonna and Whitney Houston for the most #1 singles among female artists at the time. Daydream became Cary's biggest-selling album in the United States, and her second album to be certified diamond by the RIAA, after Music Box. The album continued Cary's dominance in Asian music markets and sold in excess of 2.2 million copies in Japan alone and over 20 million copies globally. Daydream and its singles were nominated in 6 categories at the 38th Grammy Awards. Though considered a favorite to win the top awards of the evening, Cary was shut out, prompting her to comment, "What can you do? I will never be disappointed again." In early 1996, she embarked on her first international string of concerts, the Daydream World Tour. Its 7 dates spanned 3 in Japan and 4 throughout Europe. Forbes named Cary the top-earning female musician of 1996, collecting an estimated $32 million. During the recording of Daydream, Cary also worked on the alternative rock album Someone's Ugly Daughter by the band Chick, contributing writing, production, vocals and art direction. As Columbia Records refused to release the album with her lead vocals, Cary's friend Clarissa Dane was brought in to become the face of Chick, and her vocals were layered on top of Cary's, masking her voice. Cary also directed the music video for the Chick song, Malibu. According to Cary, I was playing with the style of the breezy grunge, punk light white female singers who were popular at the time. I totally looked forward to doing my alter ego band sessions after Daydream each night. Her contributions were secret until the release of her 2020 memoir The Meaning of Mariah Cary. 1997-2000. New Image with Butterfly and Rainbow. Cary's subsequent musical releases followed the trend that began with Daydream. Her music began relying less on pop and adult contemporary-tinged balladry and instead incorporating heavy elements of hip-hop and R&B. On Butterfly, Cary collaborated with a bevy of producers other than Afanasieff, such as Sean Combs, Q-Tip, Missy Elliott and Jean-Claude Oliver and Samuel Barnes from Trackmasters. In mid-1997, after 4 years of marriage, Cary and Mottola separated. Cary described Mottola as increasingly controlling, and viewed her newfound independence as a new lease on life. In the booklet of her 12th studio album, Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, 2009, Cary wrote that she considers Butterfly her magnum opus and a turning point in both her life and career. Butterfly introduced a more subdued style of singing, with critics noting Cary's incorporation of breathy vocals. Some viewed her lack of propensity to use her upper range as a sign of maturity, while others questioned whether it forebode waning vocal prowess. The music video for the album's lead single, Honey, her first since separating from Mottola, introduced a more overtly sexual image. Butterfly became Cary's best reviewed album, with attention placed on the album's exploration of more mature lyrical themes. In their review of the album, Rolling Stone wrote, "It's not as if Cary has totally dispensed with her old saccharine, Houston-style balladry. But the predominant mood of Butterfly is one of coolly erotic reverie." AllMusic editor Stephen Thomas Erlewine described Cary's vocals as sultrier and more controlled than ever, and felt the album illustrates that Cary continues to improve and refine her music, which makes her a rarity among her 90s peers. Honey and My All, the album's fifth single, both topped the Hot 100, making Cary a female artist with the most #1 singles in the chart's history. Though a commercial success, Butterfly failed to reach the commercial heights of her previous albums, Music Box and Daydream. Cary at Edwards Air Force Base during the making of the I Still Believe music video in December 1998. After concluding her Butterfly World Tour, Cary partook in the VH1 Divas benefit concert on April 14, 1998, where she sang alongside Aretha Franklin, Celine Dion, Shania Twain, Gloria Estefan, and Carole King. Cary began conceptualizing a film project All That Glitters, later retitled to simply Glitter, 2001, and wrote songs for other projects, such as Men in Black 1997, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas 2000. After Glitter fell into developmental hell, Cary postponed the project, and began writing material for a new album. Sony Music executives insisted she prepare a greatest hits collection in time for the holiday season. The album, titled Number Ones 1998, featured a cover of Brenda K. Starr's I Still Believe, and a duet with Whitney Houston, When You Believe, which was included on the soundtrack for The Prince of Egypt 1998. Number Ones became a phenomenon in Japan, selling over 1 million copies in its opening week, making Cary the only international artist to accomplish this feat. It sold over 3.25 million copies in Japan in its first 3 months on sale, and holds the record as the best-selling album by a non-Asian artist. With only one album left to fulfill her contract with Sony, and with a burning desire to separate herself professionally from the record label her ex-husband still headed, Cary completed the album in 3 months in mid-1999. Titled Rainbow, the album found Cary exploring with producers whom she had not worked with before. Rainbow became Cary's first album to not feature a collaboration with her longtime writing partner, Walter Afanasieff. Instead, she chose to work with David Foster and Diane Warren. Heartbreaker and Thank God I Found You both topped the Billboard Hot 100, while a collaboration with Irish boy band Westlife on the cover of Phil Collins' Against All Odds Take a Look at Me Now became Cary's second #1 hit on the UK charts. Rainbow was released on November 2, 1999, to the highest first-week sales of her career at the time, however debuting at #2 on the Billboard 200. Cary's tense relationship with Columbia grew increasingly fractious. She began posting messages on her website, sharing inside information with fans on the dispute, as well as instructing them to request Can't Take That Away, Mariah's theme, on radio stations. Ultimately, The song was only given a very limited and low promotion release. Critical reception of Rainbow was generally positive, with the general consensus finding, "What began on Butterfly as a departure ends up on Rainbow, a progression, perhaps the first compelling proof of Cary's true colors as an artist." Though a commercial success, Rainbow became Cary's lowest-selling album at that point in her career. 2001-2004. Personal and professional setbacks, Glitter and Charm Bracelet. Cary received Billboard's Artist of the Decade Award and the World Music Award for Best-Selling Pop Female Artist of the Millennium, and parted from Columbia Records. She signed an unprecedented $80 million 5-album recording contract with Virgin Records, EMI Records, in April 2001. Glitter was a musical departure, recreating a 1980s post-disco era to accompany the film, set in 1983. Cary was given full conceptual and creative control over the project. She said that Columbia had regarded her as a commodity, with her separation from Mottola exacerbating her relations with label executives. Cary's 3-year relationship with Latin singer Luis Miguel ended. In July 2001, Cary suffered a physical and emotional breakdown. She began posting disturbing messages on her website, and behaved erratically in live promotional outings. On July 19, she made a surprise appearance on the MTV program Total Request Live TRL. As the show's host Carson Daly began taping following a commercial break, Cary came out pushing an ice cream cart while wearing a large men's shirt, and began a striptease in which she revealed a tight ensemble. Days later, she posted irregular voice notes on her website. "I'm trying to understand things in life right now, and so I really don't feel that I should be doing music right now. What I'd like to do is just to take a little break, or at least get one night of sleep without someone popping up about a video. All I really want is to just be me, and that's what I should have done in the first place. I don't say this much, but guess what? I don't take care of myself." Following the quick removal of the messages, Berger commented that Cary had been obviously exhausted and not thinking clearly when she posted the letters. Cary performing Hero during her Charm Bracelet World Tour in September 2003. On July 26, Cary was hospitalized due to exhaustion and a physical and emotional breakdown. She was admitted to a hospital in Connecticut and remained under doctor's care for 2 weeks, followed by an extended absence from the public. Virgin Records and 20th Century Fox delayed the release of Glitter and its soundtrack. Critics panned Glitter and its soundtrack. Both were unsuccessful commercially. The soundtrack became Cary's lowest-selling album to that point. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch dismissed it as an absolute mess that'll go down as an annoying blemish on her career. She attributed the poor performance to her state of mind, its postponement and the soundtrack having been released on September 11. Cary's record deal with Virgin Records was bought out for $28 million. She flew to Capri, Italy, for 5 months, where she wrote material for a new album. She described her time at Virgin, a complete and total stress fest. I made a total snap decision which was based on money, and I never make decisions based on money. I learned a big lesson from that. She signed a contract with Island Records, valued at more than $24 million, and launched the record label Monarch. Cary's father, Alfred Roy, with whom she had had little contact since childhood, died of cancer that year. In 2002, Cary was cast in the independent film Wisegirls alongside Mira Sorvino and Melora Walters, who co-starred as waitresses at a mobster-operated restaurant. It premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, and received negative reviews, though Cary's performance was praised. Roger Friedman of Fox News described her as a Thelma Ritter for the new millennium, and wrote, "Her line delivery is sharp and she manages to get the right laughs." In December 2002, Cary released her 9th studio album, Charm Bracelet, which she said marked a new lease on life for her. Sales of Charm Bracelet were moderate, and the quality of Cary's vocals came under criticism. Joan Anderson from the Boston Globe declared the album the worst of her career, and revealed a voice that is no longer capable of either gravity-defying gymnastics or soft coos, while AllMusic editor Stephen Thomas Earlywine wrote, "Mariah's voice is shot, sounding in tatters throughout the record. She can no longer coo or softly croon, nor can she perform her trademark gravity-defying vocal runs." To support the album, Cary embarked on the Charm Bracelet World Tour, spanning North America and East Asia over 3 months. The United States shows were booked in theaters. She described the show as Much more intimate, so you'll feel like you had an experience. You experience a night with me. While smaller venues were booked throughout the tour's stateside leg, Cary performed in stadiums in Asia and Europe, playing for a crowd of over 35,000 in Manila, 50,000 in Malaysia, and to over 70,000 people in China. In the United Kingdom, it was her first tour to feature shows outside London, booking arena stops in Glasgow, Birmingham and Manchester. The tour garnered generally positive reviews, with many praising the production and the quality of Cary's vocals. 2005-2007. Resurgence with the emancipation of Mimi. Cary, pictured with former Island Records head L.A. Reid, at the release party for the emancipation of Mimi in 2005. Cary's 10th studio album, The Emancipation of Mimi, was produced with the Neptunes, Kanye West and Cary's longtime collaborator, Jermaine Dupri. She described the album as very much like a party record. The process of putting on makeup and getting ready to go out. I wanted to make a record that was reflective of that. The Emancipation of Mimi topped the charts in the United States, becoming Cary's 5th #1 album and first since Butterfly, 1997, and was warmly accepted by critics. Caroline Sullivan of The Guardian defined it as cool, focused and urban. Some of the first Mariah Carey tunes in years which I wouldn't have to be paid to listen to again, while USA Today's Elisa Gardner wrote, the songs truly reflect the renewed confidence of a songbird who has taken her shots and kept on flying. The album's second single, We Belong Together, became a career redefining song for Cary, after a relatively unsuccessful period and a point when many critics had considered her career over. Music critics heralded the song as her return to form, as well as the return of the voice, while many felt it would revive faith in Cary's potential as a balladeer. We Belong Together broke several records in the United States and became Cary's 16th chart topper on the Billboard Hot 100. After staying at #1 for 14 non-consecutive weeks, the song became the second longest-running #1 song in U.S. chart history, behind Cary's 1996 collaboration with Boyz II Men, One Sweet Day. Billboard listed it as the song of the decade, and the 9th most popular song of all time. The song broke several airplay records, and according to Nielsen BDS, and gathered both the largest one-day and one-week audiences in history. During the week of September 25, 2005, Cary set another record, becoming the first female to occupy the first 2 spots atop the Hot 100, as We Belong Together remained at #1, and her next single, Shake It Off, moved into the #2 spot. Ashanti had topped the chart in 2002 while being a featured singer on the #2 single. On the Billboard Hot 100 year-end chart of 2005, the song was declared the #1 song, a career first for Cary. Billboard listed We Belong Together 9th on the Billboard Hot 100 all-time top songs and was declared the most popular song of the 2000s decade by Billboard. The album was re-released as the Ultra Platinum Edition. The Emancipation of Mimi earned 10 Grammy Award nominations. 8 in 2006 for the original release, the most received by Cary in a single year, and 2 in 2007 for the Ultra Platinum Edition, from which Don't Forget About Us became her 17th #1 hit. Cary won Best Contemporary R&B Album and Best Female R&B Vocal Performance and Best R&B Song for We Belong Together. The Emancipation of Mimi was the best-selling album in the United States in 2005, with nearly 5 million units sold. It was the first album by a solo female artist to become the year's best-selling album since Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill in 1996. At the end of 2005, the IFPI reported that The Emancipation of Mimi had sold more than 7.7 million copies globally, and was the second best-selling album of the year after Coldplay's X and Y. To date, The Emancipation of Mimi has sold over 12 million copies worldwide. In support of the album, Cary embarked on her first headlining tour in 3 years, named The Adventures of Mimi after a Cary-centric fans' music diary. The tour spanned 40 dates, with 32 in the United States and Canada, 2 in Africa, and 6 in Japan. It received warm reception from music critics and concert-goers, many of which celebrated the quality of Cary's vocals. 2008-2009, E=MC², Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, and Precious. In early 2007, Cary began to work on her 11th studio album, E=MC², in a private villa in Anguilla. Citation needed. Although E equals MC squared was well received by most critics, some of them criticized it for being very similar to the formula used on The Emancipation of Mimi. 2 weeks before the album's release, Touch My Body, the record's lead single, reached the top position on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming Cary's 18th number one and making her the solo artist with the most number one singles in United States history, pushing her past Elvis Presley into second place according to the magazine's revised methodology. Cary is second only to the Beatles, who have 20 number one singles. Additionally, it gave Cary her 79th week atop the Hot 100, tying her with Presley as the artist with the most weeks at number one in the Billboard chart history. Cary at the 2008 Tribeca Film Festival. E equals MC squared debuted at number one on the Billboard 200 with 463,000 copies sold, the biggest opening week sales of her career. In 2008, Cary also played an aspiring singer named Crystal in Tennessee and had a cameo appearance in Adam Sandler's film You Don't Mess with the Zohan, playing herself. Since the album's release, Cary had planned to embark on an extensive tour in support of E equals MC squared. However, the tour was suddenly cancelled in early December 2008. Cary later stated that she had been pregnant during that time period, and suffered a miscarriage, hence she cancelled the tour. On January 20, 2009, Cary performed Hero at the neighborhood inaugural ball after Barack Obama was sworn as the first African American president of the United States. On July 7, 2009, Cary, alongside Trey Lorenz, performed her version of the Jackson 5 song, I'll Be There, at the memorial service for Michael Jackson. In 2009, she appeared as a social worker in Precious, the movie adaptation of the 1996 novel Push by Sapphire. The film garnered mostly positive reviews from critics, also for Cary's performance. Variety described her acting as pitch perfect. In January 2010, Cary won the Breakthrough Actress Performance Award for her role in Precious at the Palm Springs International Film Festival. On September 25, 2009, Cary's 12th studio album, Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, was released. Reception for the album was mostly mixed. Stephen Thomas Erlewine of AllMusic called it her most interesting album in a decade, while John Caramanica from the New York Times criticized Cary's vocal performances, decrying her overuse of her softer vocal registers at the expense of her more powerful lower and upper registers. Commercially, the album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200, and became the lowest-selling studio album of her career. Obsessed served as the lead single, and debuted at number 11 in the US before peaked at number 7, and became Cary's 27th top 10 entry within the nation, tying her with Elton John and Janet Jackson for having the 5th most top 10s. Its follow-up single, a cover of Foreigner's I Want to Know What Love Is, managed to break airplay records in Brazil. The song spent 27 weeks atop the Brazil Hot 100 airplay, making it the longest-running song in the chart's history. On December 31, 2009, Cary embarked on her 7th concert tour, Angel's Advocate Tour, which visited the United States and Canada and ended on September 26, 2010. A planned remix album of Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, titled Angel's Advocate, was slated for a March 30, 2010, release but was eventually cancelled. 2010-2014. Merry Christmas to You and Me. I Am Mariah, the elusive Shantos. Following the cancellation of Angel's Advocate, it was announced that Cary would return to the studio to start work on her 13th studio album. It was later revealed that it would be her second Christmas album, and follow-up to Merry Christmas. Longtime collaborators for the project included Jermaine Dupri, John Austin, Brian Michael Cox, and Randy Jackson, as well as new collaborators such as Mark Shaman. The release date for the album, titled Merry Christmas to You, was November 2, 2010. The track list included 6 new songs as well as a remix of All I Want for Christmas Is You. Merry Christmas to You debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 with sales of 56,000 copies, becoming Cary's 16th top 10 album in the United States. The album debuted at number 1 on the R&B, hip-hop albums chart, making it only the second Christmas album to top this chart. In May 2010, Cary dropped out of her planned appearance in For Colored Girls, the film adaptation of the play for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough, citing medical reasons. In February 2011, Cary announced that she had begun writing new material for her upcoming 14th studio album. Cary recorded a duet with Tony Bennett for his Duets 2 album, titled When Do the Bells Ring for Me? In October 2011, Cary announced that she re-recorded All I Want for Christmas Is You with Justin Bieber as a duet for his Christmas album, Under the Mistletoe. In November 2011, Cary was included in the remix to the mixtape single, Warning, by Uncle Murda. The remix also features 50 Cent and Young Jeezy. That same month, Cary released a duet with John Legend titled, When Christmas Comes, originally part of Merry Christmas to You. Cary performing on Good Morning America in May 2013. On March 1, 2012, Cary performed at New York City's Gotham Hall. Her first time performing since her pregnancy. She also performed a 3-song set at a special fundraiser for U.S. President Barack Obama held in New York's Plaza Hotel. A new song titled, Bring It On Home, which Cary wrote for the event to show her support for Obama's re-election campaign, was also performed. In August 2012, she released a standalone single, Triumphant Get 'Em, featuring rappers Rick Ross and Meek Mill and co-written and co-produced by Cary, Jermaine Dupri, and Brian Michael Cox. Cary joined the judging panel of the 12th season of American Idol as Jennifer Lopez's replacement, joining Randy Jackson, Nicki Minaj and Keith Urban. Throughout the show there were on-set disagreements between Minaj and Cary. 3 years later, Cary did not make an appearance for its original series finale. Cary appeared in Lee Daniels' 2013 film The Butler, about a White House butler who served 8 American presidents over the course of 3 decades. Cary made guest voice star as a redneck character on the adult animated series American Dad! On November 24, 2013. In February 2013, Cary recorded and released a song called Almost Home for the soundtrack of the Walt Disney Studios film Oz the Great and Powerful. The video was directed by photographer David LaChapelle. For her 14th album, Cary worked with producers including DJ Clue, Randy Jackson, Q-Tip, R. Kelly, David Morales, Loris Holland, Stevie J, James Fauntleroy II, Ray Angry, Afanasieff, Dupree, Brian Michael Cox, James, Big Jim, Wright, Hit Boy, The Dream, Da Brat, and Rodney Jerkins. Cary told Billboard, "It's about making sure I have tons of good music, because at the end of the day that's the most important thing. There are a lot more raw ballads than people might expect. There are also uptempo and signature type songs that represent my different facets as an artist." The lead single, Beautiful, featuring singer Miguel, was released on May 6, 2013, and peaked at number 15 on the Hot 100. Cary taped a performance of Beautiful, along with a medley of her greatest hits on May 15, 2013. The taping aired on the American Idol finale the following day. On October 14, 2013, Cary announced that the album's former title track has been chosen as the second single. It premiered via Facebook on November 11, 2013. During a Q&A session following the song's release, Cary gave an update about the album, stating, "Now I've been inspired to add 2 more songs, so we're almost there. I can't even express this properly, but I feel like this is gonna be my favorite album." Following another song release, You're Mine Eternal, it was announced that The Art of Letting Go would no longer be the title of the album. After the final name was announced, Me, I Am Mariah, The Elusive Shantos was released on May 27, 2014. In October 2014, Cary announced an annual residency show All I Want for Christmas Is You, a night of joy and festivity. Originally performed at the Beacon Theater in New York City, the residency began on December 15, 2014, and ended on December 15, 2019, after completing 8 legs and 56 shows in various countries around the world. 2015-2017. Las Vegas Residency, Television and Film Projects. On January 30, 2015, it was announced that Cary had left Universal Music Group's Def Jam Recordings to reunite with L.A. Reid and Sony Music via Epic Records. Cary also announced her new number 1 to Infinity residency at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas the same month. To coincide with the residency, Cary released number 1 to Infinity, a greatest hits compilation album containing all of her 18 Billboard Hot 100 number 1 singles at the time, along with a new recording, Infinity, which was released as a single on April 27. In 2015, Cary had her directorial debut for the Hallmark Channel Christmas movie A Christmas Melody, in which she also performed as one of the main characters. Filming for the project took place during October 2015. In December 2015, Cary announced the Sweet Sweet Fantasy Tour, which spanned a total of 27 dates beginning in March 2016, marking Cary's first major tour of mainland Europe in 13 years. 4 stops included shows in South Africa. The tour grossed $30.3 million. Cary attending Elton John's Academy Awards party in February 2016. On March 15, 2016, Cary announced that she was filming Mariah's World, a docu-series for the E! Network documenting her Sweet Sweet Fantasy Tour and her wedding planning process. Cary told the New York Times, "I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of, show my personality and who I am, even though I feel like my real fans have an idea of who I am. A lot of people have misperceptions about this and that." The series premiered on December 4, 2016. Cary guest starred on the musical drama Empire, as a superstar singer named Kitty and sung the song, Infamous, featuring Jussie Smollett. On December 5, 2016, Cary participated in the VH1 Divas Holiday on Silent Night benefit concert, alongside Vanessa Williams, Chaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, and Tiana Taylor. On December 31, 2016, Cary's performance on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve in Times Square received worldwide attention after technical difficulties caused Cary's in-ear monitors to malfunction, resulting in what the New York Times referred to as a performance train wreck. Cary cited her inability to hear the music without in-ear auditory feedback as the cause for the mishap. Cary's representatives and Dick Clark Productions placed blame on each other. On February 3, 2017, Cary released the single, I Don't, featuring YG. Later that month, she voiced the mayor of Gotham City in the animated film The Lego Batman Movie. In July 2017, Cary made a cameo in the comedy film Girls Trip, starring Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith, Regina Hall, and Tiffany Haddish. The same month, Cary embarked on a tour with Lionel Richie, titled, All the Hits Tour. Cary was also featured in the official remix for French Montana's single, Unforgettable, alongside Sway Lee. In October 2017, she released a new soundtrack single, The Star, for the movie of the same name. The song was nominated for the Best Original Song at the 75th Golden Globe Awards. Cary also developed an animated Christmas film, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, for which she recorded an original song called Lil' Snowman. The film was released direct-to-video on November 14, 2017. On December 31, 2017, Cary returned to perform on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve after the technical difficulties that hindered her previous performance, in what the New York Times described as a made-for-television act of pop culture redemption. 2018-2019. Caution and Merry Christmas reissue. In 2018, Cary signed a worldwide deal with Live Nation Entertainment. The first commitment out of the deal was her new Las Vegas residency, The Butterfly Returns, which was launched in July 2018 to critical acclaim. Its first 12 shows in 2018 grossed $3.6 million, with dates later extending into 2019 and 2020. Following the residency, Cary embarked on her Mariah Carey live in concert tour in Asia and returned to Europe with her All I Want for Christmas Is You concert series. In September 2018, Cary announced plans to release her 15th studio album later in the year. The project was announced alongside the release of a new song titled GTFO, which she performed on September 21, 2018, when she headlined the 2018 iHeartRadio Music Festival. The album's lead single, With You, was released in October and performed for the first time at the American Music Awards of 2018. The single became Cary's highest-charting non-holiday song on the U.S. adult contemporary charts since We Belong Together, in 2005. It was followed by a second single, A No No. The album, titled Caution, was released on November 16, 2018, and received universal acclaim from critics. It debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200. By December 2018, the album had been featured on numerous year-end lists by music critics and publications. Cary performing on her Caution World Tour in Amsterdam, June 2019. In February 2019, Cary commenced the Caution World Tour in support of the album. Later in 2019, Cary engaged in a series of business and television ventures. On September 18, 2019, Cary released In the Mix, the theme song for the ABC sitcom Mixed-ish. On November 1, 2019, Cary re-released her holiday album Merry Christmas for its 25th anniversary. The album package included the original album and another disc which include live performances from Cary's 1994 concert at St. John the Divine Church, several tracks from Merry Christmas to You, as well as other standalone singles such as Lil Snowman and The Star. On December 5, 2019, it was announced that a mini-documentary titled Mariah Carey as Christmas, charting the creation and subsequent cultural legacy of All I Want for Christmas Is You, was to be produced and broadcast on Amazon Music. It premiered later that month. Peaking at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for the first time the same year, the song ended up giving Cary her 19th chart topper in the US. 2020 present. The rarities and the meaning of Mariah Carey. In January 2020, it was announced that Cary would be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame during that year's ceremony on June 11, 2020, at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in New York City. Her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, which was co-written with Michaela Angela Davis, was published in September of the same year. It recounts an improbable and inspiring journey of survival and resilience as she struggles through complex issues of race, identity, class, childhood, and family trauma during her meteoric rise to music superstardom. The memoir became a #1 New York Times bestseller after its first week of release. Cary announced plans to celebrate the 30th anniversary of her debut album through the rest of 2020, in a promotional campaign billed #MC30. The first release consisted of the live EP The Live Debut 1990, which was released on July 17, 2020. On October 2, 2020, Cary released a compilation album titled The Rarities, which includes rare and unreleased songs that Cary recorded at various stages of her career. Its lead single, Save the Day, featuring Lauryn Hill, was released on August 20, and its music video was released on September 13 as part of the airing of the US Open. 4 days later, the album's second single, a cover of Irene Cara's Out Here on My Own, was released after being recorded by Cary in 2000. At the end of October, Cary was featured on the track Where I Belong, from Busta Rhymes' album Extinction Level Event 2. The Wrath of God, which was later released as the third single from the album in April 2021. Cary's 2020 Christmas special, Mariah Carey's Magical Christmas Special, premiered on December 4, 2020, on Apple TV Plus along with a soundtrack. The special featured guests, including Ariana Grande, Jennifer Hudson, Snoop Dogg, Misty Copeland, Jermaine Dupri, and Michael Michelle Harris. A new version of Cary's 2010 song, Oh Santa, featuring guest vocals from Grande and Hudson, was released as a single the same day, and peaked at number 76 on the US Billboard Hot 100. 1 week later, All I Want for Christmas Is You topped the UK charts for the first time after spending a record 69 weeks in its top 40 prior to reaching the summit, becoming Cary's third #1 song in the country. In July 2021, Cary was featured on the track Somewhat Loved, from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis' debut studio album Jam & Lewis, Volume 1, which was released as the third single from the album, and reached the top 10 on the US Adult R&B Songs chart. On November 2, 2021, Cary teased a snippet of a new song titled Fall in Love at Christmas, which features Khalid and Kirk Franklin. The single was released on November 5 and it was performed on her new Christmas special titled Mariah's Christmas, The Magic Continues. On January 12, 2022, Cary announced a children's picture book titled The Christmas Princess, co-written with Michaela Angela Davis and illustrated by Fuji Takashi. It was released in November that year. In March, Cary was featured alongside DJ Khaled on the remix of rapper Latto's single, Big Energy, taken from her sophomore album, 777. The remix interpolates Cary's 1995 single, Fantasy. It peaked at number 6 on the ARIA charts and was certified triple platinum in Australia. It also charted at number 21 on the UK official singles chart and was certified gold by the British Phonographic Industry (BPI). In April, an online masterclass course based on singing, in which Cary served as a vocal coach, was released. A re-recorded version of Cary's 1998 single, The Roof, featuring Brandy Norwood and subtitled When I Feel the Need, was made available exclusively to Masterclass subscribers. Later that month, Number Ones was released on vinyl as a Record Store Day exclusive and re-entered the top 20 of the Billboard 200. In June, Cary performed the remix of Big Energy with Latto at the BET Awards 2022. She made a surprise appearance during the latter's set. Cary performing at Scotiabank Arena in December 2022. On September 16, 2022, an expanded version of Butterfly was released for the 25th anniversary of the album. In December 2022, Cary performed a pair of shows at two venues, Scotiabank Arena in Toronto on December 9 and 11, 2022, and Madison Square Garden in New York City on December 13 and 16, 2022. On December 20, 2022, a television special adapted from her shows in New York, titled Mariah Cary, Merry Christmas to All, aired on CBS and became the most watched program of its night, drawing in a total of 3.8 million viewers and a 0.4 demo rating. Cary also served as a co-producer of Some Like It Hot on Broadway, a musical based on the eponymous 1959 comedy film, which premiered on December 11, 2022 at the Schubert Theater in Manhattan, New York. It earned her a nomination for the Tony Award for Best Musical. Cary's 2009 track, It's a Wrap, experienced a revival on TikTok in February 2023, which prompted her to release an EP for the track, which included a new sped-up version. Artistry. Influences. Cary has said that from childhood she has been influenced by Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan, as well as R&B and soul musicians including Al Green, Stevie Wonder, Gladys Knight, and Aretha Franklin. Her music contains strong influences of gospel music, and she credits the Clark sisters, Shirley Caesar, and Edwin Hawkins as the most influential in her early years. When Cary incorporated hip-hop into her sound, speculation arose that she was making an attempt to take advantage of the genre's popularity, but she told Newsweek, "People just don't understand. I grew up with this music." She has expressed appreciation for rappers such as the Sugar Hill Gang, Eric B. and Rakim, the Wu-Tang Clan, the Notorious B.I.G. and Mobb Deep, with whom she collaborated on the single, The Roof back in time, 1998. Cary was heavily influenced by Minnie Riperton, and began experimenting with the whistle register due to her original practice of the range. During Cary's career, her vocal and musical style, along with her level of success, has been compared to Whitney Houston, whom she has also cited as an influence, and Celine Dion. Cary and her peers, according to Gary Mulholland, are the princesses of Wales. Virtuoso vocalists who blend chart-oriented pop with mature, more torch song. Author and writer Lucy O'Brien attributed the comeback of Barbra Streisand's old-fashioned showgirl to Cary and Dion, and described them and Houston as groomed, airbrushed and overblown to perfection. Cary's musical transition and use of more revealing clothing during the late 1990s were, in part, initiated to distance herself from this image, and she subsequently said that most of her early work was schmaltzy more. Some have noted that unlike Houston and Dion, Cary writes and produces her own music. Musical style. Cary performing at the Walt Disney World Resort in 2010. Love is the subject of the majority of Cary's lyrics, although she has written about themes such as loss, sex, race, abuse and spirituality. She has said that much of her work is partly autobiographical, but Time magazine's Christopher John Farley wrote, "If only Mariah Cary's music had the drama of her life. Her songs are often sugary and artificial, nutrisweet soul. But her life has passion and conflict, applying it to the first stages of her career." He commented that as her albums progressed, so too her songwriting and music blossomed into more mature and meaningful material. Jim Faber of the New York Daily News made similar comments. For Cary, vocalizing is all about the performance, not the emotions that inspired it. Singing, to her, represents a physical challenge, not an emotional unburdening. While reviewing Music Box, Stephen Holden from Rolling Stone commented that Cary sang with sustained passion, while Ariane Berger of Entertainment Weekly wrote that during some vocal moments, Cary becomes too overwhelmed to put her passion into words. In 2001, The Village Voice wrote that Cary's Strawberry Shortcake Soul still provides the template with which teen pop cuties draw curlicues around those centerless Diane Warren ballads. Following Cary's divorce with Tommy Mottola, Cary broke free of adult contemporary arrangements in favor of what Alex McPherson of The Guardian described as a lovingly crafted, hip-hop inflected quiet storm. Cary often records her layered background vocals, which has been described as a swooning bank of 100 Mariahs. The singer claims that it's because I started out as a backup singer and doing sessions as a background vocalist, learning from some of the greatest background vocalists, and also people like Luther Vandross. Growing up, I admired his texture in and of itself, but also his use of background vocals. David Foster stated that Cary thinks like a record producer and lays her vocals down like a virtuoso guitarist. Cary's songwriting is noted for its eccentric verbosity. Jeffrey Ingold of Vice argues that her lyrics are among the most verbose in pop music. Cary's output makes use of electronic instruments such as drum machines, keyboards and synthesizers. Many of her songs contain piano-driven melodies, as she was given piano lessons when she was 6 years old. Cary said that she cannot read sheet music and prefers to collaborate with a pianist when composing her material, but feels that it is easier to experiment with faster and less conventional melodies and chord progressions using this technique. While Cary learned to play the piano at a young age, and incorporates several ranges of production and instrumentation into her music, she has maintained that her voice has always been her most important asset. "My voice is my instrument, it always has been." Cary began commissioning remixes of her material early in her career and helped to spearhead the practice of recording entirely new vocals for remixes. Disc jockey David Morales has collaborated with Cary on several occasions, starting with Dream Lover, 1993, which popularized the tradition of remixing R&B songs into house records, and which Slant magazine named one of the greatest dance songs of all time. From Fantasy, 1995 onward, Cary enlisted both hip-hop and house producers to restructure her album compositions. Entertainment Weekly included 2 remixes of Fantasy on a list of Cary's greatest recordings compiled in 2005. A National Dance Music Award-winning remix produced by Morales, and a Sean Combs production featuring rapper Old Dirty Bastard. The latter has been credited with popularizing the R&B, hip-hop collaboration trend that has continued into the 2000s, through artists such as Ashanti and Beyoncé. Combs said that Cary knows the importance of mixes, so you feel like you're with an artist who appreciates your work, an artist who wants to come up with something with you. In an article in the New York Times, writer David Brown discusses how the once ubiquitous melisma pop style was heavily popularized by singers such as Cary. Brown commented, "Beginning in 1990, melisma overtook pop in a way it hadn't before." Mariah Carey's debut hit from 1990, Vision of Love, set the bar insanely high for notes stretched louder, longer and naughtier than most pop fans had ever heard. Brown further added, "A subsequent generation of singers, including Ms. Aguilera, Jennifer Hudson and Beyoncé, built their careers around melisma. Men like Brian McKnight and Tyrese also indulged in it, but women tended to dominate the form." Voice and timbre. Vision of Love, 1990. Vision of Love is credited with revolutionizing the usage of distinguished vocal stylings, predominantly the practice of melisma, and effectively influencing virtually every female R&B performer since the 1990s. Problems playing this file. See Media Help. Cary possesses a 5-octave vocal range, and has the ability to reach notes beyond the 7th octave. Referred to as the Songbird Supreme by the Guinness World Records due to her ability to sing in the whistle register, she was ranked as the greatest singer of the past 20 years in a 2003 MTV2 online poll. Cary said of the result, "What it really means is voice of the MTV generation. Of course, it's an enormous compliment, but I don't feel that way about myself." In 2023, Rolling Stone named her the 5th greatest singer of all time and the architect of modern pop. Regarding her type of voice, Cary has said she is in contralto, although several critics have described her as a coloratura light lyric soprano. Cary claims that she has had nodules on her vocal cords since childhood, due to which she can sing in a higher register than others. However, tiredness and sleep deprivation can affect her vocals due to the nodules, and Cary explained that she went through a lot of practice to maintain a balance during singing. Cary stated in a 2021 interview with the Daily Express that with her voice, it's all about timing, vocal rest and sleep. John Perrells of the New York Times described Cary's lower register as a rich, husky alto that extends to dog whistle high notes. Additionally, towards the late 1990s, Cary began incorporating breathy vocals into her material. Tim Lavelle from BBC News described her vocals as sultry close to the mic breathiness, while USA Today's Elisa Gardner wrote, "It's impossible to deny the impact her vocal style, a florid blend of breathy riffing and resonant belting, has had on today's young pop and R&B stars." Alex McPherson of The Guardian noted that Cary's voice on Butterfly is an instrument of texture rather than volume, with pillows of lavishly layered vocals and nuanced phrasing magnifying the emotional intensity of the songs. Sasha Frere Jones of The New Yorker adds her timbre on Vision of Love possesses various colors, stating, Cary's sound changes with nearly every line, mutating from a steely tone to a vibrating growl and then to a humid, breathy coo. Randy Jackson said that, it's in the tone, that buttery tone that she has with her voice that is unbelievably amazing and unbelievably identifiable. Cary also possesses a whisper register. In an interview, Ron Gibbons of Entertainment Weekly described it this way. First, a rippling, soulful ooh comes rolling effortlessly from her throat, alto. Then, after a quick breath, she goes for the stratosphere, with a sound that nearly changes the barometric pressure in the room. In one brief swoop, she seems to squeal and roar at the same time. Her sense of pitch is admired, and John Perrells adds, she can linger over sensual turns, growl with playful confidence, syncopate like a scat singer, with startlingly exact pitch. Cary is noted for her vocal improvisation skills. Winston Cook Wilson wrote that, in her vocal prime, she was able to access upper echelon dog whistle notes even her forebear Minnie Riperton couldn't muster. Her phrasing in the whistle register can be heard in the 1999 Rainbow track, Bliss, and the singer was praised for her perfect pitch and clear enunciation. Stage performances and videos. Cary pressing her in-ear monitor, while hitting her signature whistle note during her Caution World Tour in 2019. Despite being called a showstopper and the 1990s pop phenomenon, Cary suffered from stage fright in her early years in the music industry. One of her earliest performances was at MTV Unplugged, which received positive reception as Cary silenced critics saying her vocals were studio-made. Cary's The Star-Spangled Banner rendition at the Super Bowl 36 was called stunning by Billboard. She also performed America the Beautiful at the 1990 NBA Finals, in which Rolling Stone writer Brittany Spanos stated the players were struck with awe by the incredible talent of a burgeoning young star. The singer received the only standing ovation of the night at the 48th Annual Grammy Awards, after performing the medley of We Belong Together and Fly Like a Bird. Cary is known for being very static during her live performances. Some reviewers credited her stage fright and lack of confidence as the reasoning, while others pointed out that her performances focus on her vocals and the quality of her songs. Her on-stage hand gesticulations have usually been mimicked, as the singer has a tendency for using her hands to point, flutter and sweep through the air as she deftly crests each run. When reviewing Cary's 2014 concert, Michael Lallo wrote that, if you're Mariah, you stroke your hair a lot. When a high note is on the horizon, you brace yourself by touching your ear and adopting a pained expression, provoking the crowd into losing its collective mind. The music video for Fantasy was the first that Cary directed entirely on her own. Cary had been open about the fact that she had not been happy with some of her previous music videos, and has subsequently been noted for self-directing and co-producing her subsequent videography. The song, Honey, pushed Cary further towards hip-hop and R&B than before. The music video gained further attention, as Cary, for the first time in her career, was provocatively dressed, giving viewers a taste of the freer Mariah. Billboard ranked Cary 73rd on its list of the 100 greatest music video artists of all time in 2020, stating that, over 3 decades, Cary has gone from breezy girl next door, flaunting a denim collection as wide as her vocal range, to secret agent, runaway bride, and even her own stalker in a collection of music videos that play like mini-dramas. The music video for The Roof was ranked 18th on Slant Magazine's 100 Greatest Music Videos. The music videos for Honey and Heartbreaker remain among the most expensive ever made, costing over $2 million. In 2021, Cary was honored at the African American Film Critics Association with a Special Achievement Innovator Award for her visual storytelling in her music videos and specials. Public image. Cary performing We Belong Together on Good Morning America in 2005. Cary has been called a pop icon and has been labeled a diva for her stardom and persona. She said, I have had diva moments, and then people can't handle it. I guess it's a little intense, because I come from a true diva. My mother is an opera singer. And that's a real diva, you know, Juilliard diva. And I mean it as a compliment, or I wouldn't be the person I am without experiencing that. Cary's fanbase is known as the Lambili, a portmanteau of lamb and family. With over 21 million followers, Cary is one of the most popular musicians on Twitter. Her fans are credited with originating the internet term, skinny legend, used as a form of praise and endearment for their idol. In 2008, Cary was named one of Time's 100 most influential artists and entertainers in the world. Now writer Kevin Hegg agreed that Cary's influence is indisputable. Her style has often been described as eccentric and over the top. Writer Noah Berlatsky noted that Cary has always reveled in uber-feminine, girly imagery, with her album titles such as Butterfly, Rainbow, Glitter and Charm Bracelet being prime examples. In her memoir, she stated, "I refuse to acknowledge time. Opening parenthesis ... closing parenthesis. Not living based on time became a way to hold on to myself, to keep close and keep alive that inner child of mine. It's why I gravitate toward enduring characters like Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy and Tinker Bell. They remind me we can be timeless." She also admits to be a fan of Hello Kitty. Tom Bryhan of Stereogum wrote that, "Decades from now, we will be looking back at Mariah Carey as one of the most gloriously batshit pop stars of all time." As the biggest pop star in music by the mid-1990s, Carey's first years as a pop star were extraordinarily fruitful but restrictive. In the late 1990s, after separating from Mottola, Cary adopted a more provocative and less conservative image than had been previously seen and began wearing more revealing clothes. She has since been described as a sex symbol. The singer mentions Marilyn Monroe as one of her biggest idols and her beauty icon, and she referenced Monroe in some of her music videos, such as I Still Believe, or Don't Forget About Us. Her album Butterfly has been credited for revamping Cary's image as a pop star, where she began to embrace hip-hop and R&B themes and fully come into her own self, resulting in Butterflies becoming a metaphorical symbol of her impact and legacy upon pop and R&B music. In the early 2000s, Cary was a tabloid fixture, and her public breakdown during the promotion of her 2001 film, Glitter, became the stuff of tabloid legend, according to Justin Curto, writer for Vulture. Her return to prominence in 2005 with the album The Emancipation of Mimi is regarded as one of the greatest musical comebacks in history. After joining American Idol as a judge for the 12th season, Cary became one of the highest-paid American television stars ever. Amelia Petrarca of W stated that Cary is uber cautious about cultivating her public image, but that when it comes to style, she is more do than don't. Fashion has also been a part of Cary's image. She was cited a fashion icon by insider writer Susanna Heller, who added that her decadent closet spans multiple rooms and is full of designer clothing, lingerie, shoes, and accessories. CR fashion book writer Shepard also stated that while her sartorial aesthetic has shifted here and there, the music icon largely favors sexy, skin-bearing, and often bedazzled looks. During her tours, she has frequently worn Jimmy Choo and Christian Louboutin high-end stiletto footwear, as well as leotards, corsets, and fishnet tights. Laura Antonia Jordan of Grazia called Cary fashion royalty, and stated that in the 1990s, her go-to looks were super tight silhouettes, cropped tops, thigh-grazing hemlines and dangerously high slits. Cary has also been credited for beginning the trend of wearing low-rise jeans in the early 2000s, after cutting off the waistband of the denim she wore for the music video of Heartbreaker, which have since been described as iconic. Vogue writer Christian Allaire stated that in the latter half of her career, Cary has rarely hit without her evening gowns, often embellished with crystals, sequins, or feathers. Several media outlets have called Cary the Queen of Shade. When asked about American singer Jennifer Lopez in a German TV interview, Cary's response was, "I don't know her." The clip became a viral internet meme and has been brought up in many other interviews with both of the singers. After the release of Obsessed, critics heavily compared its lyrics to Eminem, who had negatively referenced her several times in songs, and suggested Cary alluded to him in his obsession with her. Obsessed never mentions the rapper's name, although reviewers felt it to be very obvious. Additionally, Cary played a role that resembled the rapper in the song's accompanying music video. Due to her large gay fanbase, Cary is recognized as a gay icon, and her song, Hero, is regarded as an anthem among the gay community as it touches upon themes of embracing individuality and overcoming self-doubt. According to Cary herself, a lot of her gay fans admitted to also be growing up listening to her song, Outside, and relating to the feeling of isolation and unfitting. Her diva persona has also given her much admiration from gay fans. Cary was honored by GLAAD in 2016 with the GLAAD Ally Award, for which she expressed gratitude to her LGBT+ fans. In her speech, she thanked the community for the unconditional love. "I wish all of you love, peace, and harmony." Queen of Christmas. Cary performing "All I Want for Christmas Is You" at the 2013 National Christmas Tree Lighting event in Washington, D.C. "All I Want for Christmas Is You," as well as its parent album Merry Christmas, have become such a ubiquitous part of wider popular culture that Cary's name became synonymous with the season, and she has since been dubbed the Queen of Christmas. Both the song and album have been hailed as being one of the few worthy modern additions to the holiday canon by publications such as The New Yorker. Speaking to Vogue in 2015 about "All I Want for Christmas Is You," Elvis Duran stated that the song's appeal was based on the fact that it was a modern song that could actually have been a hit back in the 40s, praising its timeless, classic quality. The success of the song, in particular, has led Cary to build what Billboard described as a growing holiday mini-empire. Multiple media sources have referred to Cary as a modern holiday icon. The singer has often incorporated holiday-themed outfits during her Christmas shows and music videos. Billboard noted that, each year, her rate gets grander and more festive. Opening parenthesis ... closing parenthesis. Over the years, Cary has rocked nearly every shade of red for the season's fashions, from plunging gowns and floor-length coats to ensembles inspired by Santa, Mrs. Claus and the Nutcracker's toy soldiers. She's also a pro at pulling off winter white, whether she's wearing a snow-white dress covered in crystals or a fluffy hood tailor-made for keeping the December chill at bay. Due to the song's ongoing popularity, as well as social media memes that show retail workers' disdain for the song due to its frequent airplay at their jobs, which sometimes require the round-the-clock display of Christmas music, Cary has taken advantage of this by posting a video on her social media every year since 2019 around midnight Eastern Time on November 1st, announcing that it's time to play the song. Legacy. Cary performing "Hero" during the neighborhood inaugural ball for President Obama. Cary has been credited for her role in breaking down racial barriers in popular culture and facilitating public discourse surrounding multiracialism during the 1990s. Brittany Lewis from Vulture wrote that Cary rose to fame as public conversations about multiracial identity were expanding in the early 90s, noting that the singer became something of an avatar for biracial identity, a validating presence for some and a source of both curiosity and discomfort for others. Lewis concluded that Cary's experience of fame could have happened only once. Her stardom punched a hole in the sky. Her career matured as current conversations about mixed identity were still forming, and while the passing narratives of the past, both brilliant and clumsy, had yet to fade from pop cultural memory. There was a time when she might have been considered the most famous mixed person of black and white parentage in America, but now the field's far more crowded. In her book Tragic No More: Mixed-Race Women and the Nexus of Sex and Celebrity, Caroline A. Streeter, an associate professor at the University of California, Los Angeles, also described Cary as one of the ideal figures through which to consider the post-civil rights era's apparent rehabilitation and transformation of the mulatto into a biracial subject of representation. Cary's enduring popularity as a musician has received extensive recognition, with Anne Brannigan from The Root commenting, "There's longevity, then there's Mariah Carey." When reviewing her 15th studio album, Caution, Edino Hattie wrote, "In the last 3 decades since she made her debut, many female pop stars have scaled the heights that Cary has reached, but very, very few have matched her longevity. She is the first artist to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the physical, digital and streaming eras." Cary's music has been recorded, performed or sampled by a variety of artists such as Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, Dolly Parton, Luciano Pavarotti, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Shania Twain, Michael Ball, Ariana Grande, Bryson Tiller, Drake, Fifth Harmony, and Sigala. The 2019 film Always Be My Maybe was a play on words of Cary's 1996 song, Always Be My Baby. The impact of Cary's artistry has helped popularize rappers as a featured act in pop music through her post-1995 songs. She has been called the Queen of Remixes by multiple media sources, with MTV writer Princess Gabara noting that it is no secret that Cary goes to great lengths to deliver a spectacular remix, often re-recording vocals, penning new lyrics, shooting new music videos, and recording different versions to satisfy pop, R&B, hip-hop, and EDM audiences. Speaking to Billboard in 2019 for a profile of Cary's career, David Morales, who first collaborated with Cary on the Def Club mix of her 1993 single, Dream Lover, commented on Cary's revolutionary role in the popularization of remixes. Mariah opened up a whole other door, and not many people at that time were capable of that. When other big artists saw what I did with Mariah, they wanted that. She's how I got into the studio with Toni Braxton, Aretha Franklin, Seal and Donna Summer. Sasha Frere Jones, editor of The New Yorker, commented, "It became standard for R&B, hip-hop stars like Missy Elliott and Beyoncé to combine melodies with rapped verses. And young white pop stars, including Britney Spears, NSYNC and Christina Aguilera, have spent much of the past 10 years making pop music that is unmistakably R&B." Moreover, Jones concludes that Cary's idea of pairing a female songbird with the leading male MCs of hip-hop changed R&B and, eventually, all of pop. Although now anyone is free to use this idea, the success of the emancipation of Mimi suggests that it still belongs to Cary. Judnik Maillard, writer of The Fader, wrote that in regarding of R&B and hip-hop collaboration, the champion of this movement is Mariah Carey. Maillard also expressed that, to this day ODB and Mariah may still be the best and most random hip-hop collaboration of all time, citing that due to the record, fantasy, R&B and hip-hop were the best of step-siblings. Kalefa Sana of The New York Times wrote, "In the mid-1990s Ms. Cary pioneered a subgenre that some people call the thug love duet. Nowadays clean-cut pop stars are expected to collaborate with roughneck rappers, but when Ms. Cary teamed up with Old Dirty Bastard, of the Wu-Tang Clan, for the 1995 hit remix of Fantasy, it was a surprise, and a smash." Cary's vocal style, as well as her singing ability, have significantly impacted popular and contemporary music. She has been considered one of the greatest vocalists of all time. As music critic G. Brown from the Denver Post wrote, "For better or worse, Mariah Carey's 5-octave range and melismatic style have influenced a generation of pop singers." According to Stevie Wonder, when people talk about the great influential singers, they talk about Aretha, Whitney and Mariah. That's a testament to her talent. Her range is that amazing. Cary has inspired singers and songwriters all over the world. In a review of her greatest hits album, Devin Powers of Pop Matters writes that she has influenced countless female vocalists after her. At 32, she is already a living legend, even if she never sings another note. Upon honoring her with the Icon Award at their eponymous awards ceremony in 2012, Broadcast Music, Inc. BMI described Cary's songwriting as having a unique and indelible influence on generations of music makers. Multiple media sources referred to Cary as the Queen of Melisma. According to Rolling Stone, her mastery of melisma, the fluttering strings of notes that decorate songs like Vision of Love, inspired the entire American Idol vocal school, for better or worse, and virtually every other female R&B singer since the 90s. Chart historian Tom Bryhan chose Vision of Love as one of the chapters in his book The Number Ones, 20 chart-topping hits that reveal the history of pop music, stating that the song set the stage for a whole decade of showy, pyrotechnic 90s R&B vocals. Cary created an environment where her disciples could flourish, and she did it by constructing Vision of Love as a showcase for her voice. In 2008, Jody Rosen of Slate wrote of Cary's influence in modern music, calling her the most influential vocal stylist of the last 2 decades, the person who made Rococo melismatic singing. Rosen further exemplified Cary's influence by drawing a parallel with American Idol, which to her, often played out as a clash of melisma-mad Mariah wannabes. And, today, nearly 20 years after Cary's debut, major labels continue to bet the farm on young stars such as the winner of Britain's X Factor show, Leona Lewis, with her Generation Next gloss on Mariah's big voice and big hair. New York Magazine's editor Roger Decker further commented that, Whitney Houston may have introduced melisma, the vocally acrobatic style of lending a word an extra syllable or 20, to the charts, but it was Mariah, with her jaw-dropping range, who made it into America's default sound. Decker also added that, every time you turn on American Idol, you are watching her children. As Professor Catherine L. Meisel said in her book, The Mediation of Identity Politics in American Idol, Cary's influence is in the emulation of melisma or her singing amongst the wannabes, it's also her persona, her diva, her stardom which inspires them, a pre-fame conic look. With her ability to do runs, scats, and incredible control using whistle register, Mariah Carey is credited for popularizing this technique in mainstream music, making her name synonymous with the term. Achievements. Main article. List of awards and nominations received by Mariah Carey. Carey attending the 82nd Academy Awards Where Precious, 2009, in which she starred in as Ms. Weiss, a social worker, received 6 nominations. Throughout her career, Carey has earned numerous awards and honors. She has won 5 Grammy Awards, 19 World Music Awards, 10 American Music Awards, and 15 Billboard Music Awards. She is one of the best-selling recording artists in history, with more than 220 million records sold. She is also an inductee of the Songwriters Hall of Fame. As of March 2022, the Recording Industry Association of America (RIAA) lists Carey as the best-selling female albums artist, with shipments of 72 million units in the US, and one of the best-selling digital singles artists. She is the second female singer to amass both Diamond-certified albums and singles, with the albums Music Box and Daydream, and the single, All I Want for Christmas Is You, the only holiday song and the first female song from the 20th century to achieve that. With sales of over 20 million copies worldwide, Music Box and Daydream rank among the best-selling albums of all time. In August 2015, Carey was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Carey has set and broken numerous Hot 100 records. She has topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 91 weeks, the most for any artist in US chart history. On that same chart, she has accumulated 19 #1 singles, the most for any solo artist, second behind the Beatles, and she is also the only artist to have a #1 song in each year of a decade, 1990s decade. In 2020, Carey became the first artist to top the Billboard Hot 100 over 4 decades, 1990s 2020s. Carey was the first woman to debut at #1, with Fantasy, the first act to debut at #1 multiple times, and she held the record for the most #1 debuts, 3, until surpassed in 2020. Her single, One Sweet Day, with Boys II Men, spent 16 consecutive weeks at the top of Billboard's Hot 100 chart in 1996, setting the record for the most weeks atop the Hot 100 chart until surpassed in 2019 by Old Town Road. One Sweet Day and We Belong Together became the best-performing songs of their respective decades, 1990s and 2000s, making Carey the only act to accomplish the feat twice. She also holds the record for the longest span of #1 songs, 29 years, and the most consecutive years, 11, topping the chart. The song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, alone broke multiple Billboard records. In 2021, the magazine ranked it as the greatest holiday song of all time. It is the longest-running #1 song on the Billboard Holiday 100 chart, 57 cumulative weeks, of the chart's 62 total weeks, and the longest-running holiday #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. It also holds the record for the longest span of a song's first and last week at the summit of the Hot 100, a record that's annually extended. All I Want for Christmas Is You is the oldest song to top the chart and the only song to return to #1 in more than 2 separate chart runs. In 2008, Billboard listed We Belong Together 9th on the Billboard Hot 100 all-time top songs and second on top Billboard Hot 100 R&B hip-hop songs. On November 19, 2010, Billboard magazine ranked Carey at #4 on their Top 50 R&B hip-hop artists of the past 25 years chart. In 2012, Carey was ranked second on VH1's list of the 100 Greatest Women in Music. Billboard magazine ranked her at #5 on the Billboard Hot 100 all-time top artists, making Carey the second most successful female artist in the history of the chart. The same publication ranked Carey at #4 on their Top 125 Artists of All Time chart, making her the top female act. In 2021, The Emancipation of Mimi and Fantasy were included on the new editions of Rolling Stone magazine's lists of the 500 Greatest Albums of All Time and the 500 Greatest Songs of All Time, respectively. Carey's holiday album Merry Christmas has sold over 15 million copies worldwide, and is the best-selling Christmas album of all time. The lead single, All I Want for Christmas Is You, became the first holiday song to be certified diamond by the Recording Industry Association of America, and the only holiday ringtone to reach multi-platinum status in the US. With sales of over 14 million copies worldwide, it is one of the best-selling physical singles in music history and the best-selling holiday song by a female artist. It is also the highest certified and the longest charting song by a woman in the UK. In 2018, Cary became the first artist to replace herself at the #1 spot on Billboard's top R&B albums chart, with Caution being replaced by Merry Christmas. On November 24, 2019, the song won 3 Guinness World Records. Additionally, it holds the record for the most Spotify streams in a single day, over 20 million plays on December 24, 2022. In 2021, the song earned 1 billion streams on Spotify, making it both Cary's first song and the first holiday song overall to do so. In 2023, the song was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Recording Registry, due to its cultural, historical and aesthetic importance in the American soundscape. Cary experienced an enduring success in various Asian countries. She is the best-selling Western artist in Japan. #1 was certified with a triple million award and holds the record as the best-selling international album in the country, while Music Box, Daydream, Butterfly and Merry Christmas all sold over 2 million copies in the country, with the latter one being the 4th best-selling international album. Her song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, is the 3rd best-selling song by a non-Asian artist. In 2018, Sony Music Asia Pacific presented Cary with a Certificate of Achievement for 1.6 billion sales units in Asia Pacific. Cary also holds the record for the longest-running #1 song on the Brazil Hot 100, with her 2009 cover of Foreigner's I Want to Know What Love Is, which spent 27 weeks atop the Brazilian charts. Other activities. Endorsements. Declining offers to appear in commercials in the United States during her early career, Cary was not involved in brand marketing initiatives until 2006, when she participated in endorsements for Intel Centrino personal computers and launched a jewelry and accessories line for teenagers, glamorized, in American Claire's and icing stores. During this period, as part of a partnership with Pepsi and Motorola, Cary recorded and promoted a series of exclusive ringtones, including Time of Your Life. She signed a licensing deal with the cosmetics company Elizabeth Arden, and in 2007, she released her own fragrance, M. The Elizabeth Arden deal has netted her $150 million. For the fragrance, Cary won a Bass Notes Fragrance Award for Best Celebrity Women's Fragrance as well as being nominated in 3 other categories. She has released a series of fragrances with Elizabeth Arden, including Luscious Pink 2008 and Forever 2009. On November 29, 2010, she debuted a collection on HSN, which included jewelry, shoes and fragrances. In November 2011, Cary was announced as brand ambassador for Jenny Craig, which included participation in a new company initiative, public service announcements and community and education programs. In 2018, Cary featured in an advertisement for Hostelworld with the tagline, "Even Divas Are Believers." On August 25, 2019, Cary signed a $12 million contract with the Walker's Crisps brand as part of their Christmas campaign and starred in a commercial for the company. In conjunction with the 25th anniversary release of Merry Christmas in 2019, she organized a gift guide with Amazon, and partnered for an exclusive Christmas ornament with Swarovski. In December 2020, Cary launched a partnership with virtual dining concepts and restaurateur, Robert Earl, for a biscuit line titled Mariah's Cookies. In 2021, Cary announced the launch of a new line of alcohol called Black Irish, an homage to her Black, Venezuelan, and Irish heritage. That same year, Cary also partnered with McDonald's, promoting an entirely new limited-time menu. In 2022, Cary recorded 9 video lessons for masterclass titled, Mariah Cary Teaches the Voice as an Instrument, as well as re-recording The Roof Back in Time alongside Brandy. Philanthropy and activism. Cary is a philanthropist who has been involved with several charitable organizations. She became associated with the Fresh Air Fund in the early 1990s, and is the co-founder of a camp located in Fishkill, New York, that enables inner-city youth to embrace the arts and introduces them to career opportunities. The camp was called Camp Mariah, for her generous support and dedication to fresh air children, and she received a Congressional Horizon Award for her youth-related charity work. Cary has continued her direct involvement with Camp Mariah, and by 2019 the executive director of the Fresh Air Fund reported that the kids who have gone to Camp Mariah have higher graduation rates out of high school and college. In 1999, Cary was presented with a Congressional Award for contributing to expanding opportunities for all Americans through their own personal contributions, and setting exceptional examples for young people through their own successes in life. In 2019, she was honored by Variety's Power of Women for her work with the Fresh Air Fund's Camp Mariah. Cary also donated royalties from her hits, Hero, and One Sweet Day, to charities. She has worked with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and in November 2006 she was awarded the foundation's Wish Idol for her extraordinary generosity and her many wish-granting achievements. Cary has volunteered for the Police Athletic League of New York City and contributed to the Obstetrics Department of New York Presbyterian Hospital Cornell Medical Center. A percentage of the sales of MTV Unplugged was donated to various other charities. In 2008, Cary was named Hunger Ambassador of the World Hunger Relief Movement. In February 2010, the song, 100%, which was originally written and recorded for the film, Precious, was used as one of the theme songs for the 2010 Winter Olympics, with all money proceeds going to Team USA. In 2017, Cary was awarded with PETA's Angel for Animals Award for promoting animal adoption through her animated movie All I Want for Christmas Is You. One of Cary's most high-profile benefit concert appearances was on VH1's 1998 Divas Live special, during which she performed alongside other female singers in support of the Save the Music Foundation. The concert was a ratings success, and Cary participated in the Divas 2000 special and a 2016 holiday edition. She appeared at the America, a tribute to Heroes nationally televised fundraiser in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks, and performed before peacekeeping troops in Kosovo. Cary hosted the CBS television special At Home for the Holidays, which documented real-life stories of adopted children and foster families. In 2005, Cary performed for Live Aid in London and at the Hurricane Katrina Relief Telethon, Shelter from the Storm. In August 2008, Cary and other singers recorded the charity single, Just Stand Up, produced by Babyface and L.A. Reid, to support Stand Up to Cancer. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Cary participated in the iHeart Living Room concert for America and Rise Up New York telethons to raise money for those affected by COVID-19. In response to the murder of George Floyd, Cary took to social media and sang a snippet of her 1990 song, There's Got to Be a Way, while encouraging fans to demand justice. Controversies. In 2008, Cary performed in a New Year's Eve concert for the family of Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. She later said she felt horrible and embarrassed to have taken part in the concert. To make amends, in March 2011, Cary's representative Cindy Berger stated that royalties for the song, Save the Day, written for her 14th studio album, would be donated to charities that create awareness for human rights. Berger also said that Cary has and continues to donate her time, money and countless hours of personal service to many organizations both here and abroad. Save the Day remained unreleased until 2020. In 2013, human rights activists criticized Cary for performing in a concert for Angola's father-daughter kleptocracy, and accused her of accepting dictator cash. In March 2021, Cary attempted to trademark the phrase, Queen of Christmas, so that it could be used by her company Lotion LLC. Darlene Love protested, saying David Letterman gave her the title about 30 years earlier. Elizabeth Chan filed an official objection, saying she was music's only full-time Christmas singer-songwriter, and that people had also called her Queen of Christmas. For her daughter, Chan had also used the brand Princess of Christmas, which Cary's company also wanted. In November 2022, the Trial Trademark and Appeal Board rejected Cary's request. Personal life. Cary began dating Tommy Mottola while recording Mariah Carey, and they were married in New York City on June 5, 1993, during a $500,000 ceremony at St. Thomas Church. The newlyweds moved into a custom-built mansion referred to by Cary as Sing Sing, located on a 51-acre estate in Bedford, New York, alluding to her feeling imprisoned there. After the release of Daydream and the success that followed, Cary began focusing on her personal life, which was a constant struggle at the time. Their relationship began to deteriorate due to their growing creative differences in terms of her music as well as Mottola's controlling nature. They announced their separation on May 30, 1997, and their divorce was finalized by the time Mottola remarried on December 2, 2000. In 1998, Their home together was sold for $20.5 million to Nelson Peltz and burned down in 1999. Cary with her children in 2019. Cary was in a relationship with singer Luis Miguel from 1998 to 2001. She met actor and comedian Nick Cannon while they shot the music video for her song, Bye Bye, on an island off the coast of Antigua. They were married on April 30, 2008, in the Bahamas. In the same year, Cary suffered a miscarriage. At 35 weeks into her next pregnancy, she gave birth to their fraternal twins, Moroccan and Monroe, on April 30, 2011, via cesarean section. In August 2014, Cannon confirmed he and Cary had separated. He filed for divorce on December 12, 2014, which was finalized in 2016. In 2015, Cary began dating Australian billionaire James Packer and, on January 21, 2016, she announced they were engaged. By October, however, they had called off the engagement. In October 2016, she began dating American choreographer Brian Tanaka. Cary is an active Episcopalian. She stated in 2006, "I do believe that I have been born again in a lot of ways. I think what I've changed are my priorities and my relationships with God. I feel the difference when I don't have my private moments to pray. I'm a fighter, but I learned that I'm not in charge. Whatever God wants to happen is what's going to happen. I feel like I've had endless second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth chances. It's by the grace of God I'm still here." In April 2018, Cary opened up about taking therapy sessions and medication for her struggle with bipolar II disorder. She was diagnosed in 2001 and initially kept the diagnosis private. Discography. Main articles. Mariah Carey albums discography, Mariah Carey singles discography, and list of songs recorded by Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, 1990. Emotions, 1991. Music Box, 1993. Merry Christmas, 1994. Daydream, 1995. Butterfly, 1997. Rainbow, 1999. Glitter, 2001. Charm Bracelet, 2002. The Emancipation of Mimi, 2005. E=mc², 2008. Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, 2009. Merry Christmas to You, 2010. Me. I Am Mariah. The Elusive Shantos, 2014. Caution, 2018. Filmography. See also. Mariah Carey videography. The Bachelor, 1999. Glitter, 2001. Wise Girls, 2002. Death of a Dynasty, 2003. State Property 2, 2005. Tennessee, 2008. You Don't Mess with the Zohan, 2008. Precious, 2009. The Butler, 2013. A Christmas Melody, 2015. Popstar. Never Stop Never Stopping, 2016. The Keys of Christmas, 2016. The Lego Batman Movie, 2017. Girls Trip, 2017. The Star, 2017. All I Want for Christmas Is You, 2017. Mariah Carey's Magical Christmas Special, 2020. Mariah's Christmas. The Magic Continues, 2021. Tours and residencies. Main article. List of Mariah Carey live performances. Headlining tours. Music Box Tour, 1993. Daydream World Tour, 1996. Butterfly World Tour, 1998. Rainbow World Tour, 2000. Charm Bracelet World Tour, 2003-2004. The Adventures of Mimi, 2006. Angels Advocate Tour, 2009-2010. Australian Tour 2013-2013. The Elusive Shantos Show, 2014. The Sweet Sweet Fantasy Tour, 2016. Mariah Carey. Live in Concert, 2018. Caution World Tour, 2019. Merry Christmas to All. Tour, 2022. Co-headlining tours. All the Hits Tour, with Lionel Richie, 2017. Residencies. Live at the Pearl, 2009. All I Want for Christmas Is You. A Night of Joy and Festivity, 2014-2019. Number 1 to Infinity, 2015-2017. The Butterfly Returns, 2018-2020. Written works. All I Want for Christmas Is You. Random House Children's Books. November 10, 2015. ISBN 978-0-399-551390. The Meaning of Mariah Carey. Henry Holt and Company. September 29, 2020. ISBN 978-1250-164681. The Christmas Princess, The Adventures of Little Mariah. Henry Holt Books for Young Readers. November 1, 2022. ISBN 978-1250-837110. See also. Biography Portal. Pop Music Portal. United States Portal. List of best-selling singles. List of best-selling albums. List of best-selling female music artists. List of best-selling music artists in the United States. List of Billboard Hot 100 chart achievements and milestones. List of artists who reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. List of artists who reached number 1 on the US Dance Chart. Artists with the most number 1s on the US Dance Chart. Forbes list of highest earning musicians. Notes. While some sources give a birth year of 1970, a birth announcement in Cary's hometown newspaper The Long Islander indicates 1969, as do others. References. External links. About this article. View edit history. Updated today. View talk page. Discuss improvements to this article. Read more. Love Takes Time. 1990 single by Mariah Cary. Vision of Love. 1990 single by Mariah Cary. Dream Lover, Song. 1993 single by Mariah Cary. Content is available under CC by SAW 3.0 unless otherwise noted. View